I'm Derek.
And I'm Dylan.
We're Proletariat-Designs.
And today we're going to be discussing the Polish Radom P64. We're going to be examining this pistol and what really makes it unique and decide whether or not if this is something that stacks up in the year 2016.
And we're going to ask that important question, is it something we recommend buying?
Okay, so as you see, we've got two P64s right in front of us. Being brothers, we've got ours outfitted in a little bit different color, but they're essentially the same here. So Derek, tell us a little bit about the P64's history and where it came from.
So it was designed to replace the TTC or TT33. So they wanted a little bit smaller pistol, and they went from a 7.62 by 25 to a 9 by 18 Makarov. And they did that because, as you can see, it's a more compact round, and that's what they were going for.
Yeah, and they also wanted something that would be a little bit easier to field strip. And so the design they ultimately came with was very similar to the Walther PPK. And here's a Walther PPKS, and as you can see, there's some very distinct similarities between these pistols. You can see the location of the safety is very similar. Interestingly, they claimed that there was no connection with Walther when this was designed, and it was designed completely independent without any PPK influences, but at the same time, you can see that they're very similar. So back to the safety. On these, you can see that the safety is placed on the slide in all of these, and if you take and move the hammer back and none of these firearms are loaded, you put the firearm into safe position, it will decock the firearm. So that's something that's very similar in all of these. And now again, this is a blowback style pistol, meaning that the barrel is fixed, and you find this in the Walther and the P64. And this really affects how they break down as well. There's some similarities, as you'll see. On the Walther, you pull down on the trigger guard to break the pistol down, in the same way with the P64. And real quick, I'm just going to break the pistol down just so you can see here that the pistol has a fixed barrel, and you'll also notice that the front of the spring here is a little bit wider than on the back. Sometimes they'll stovepipe if these springs get turned around, so if you are having issues with stovepiping or some ejecting problems, there's a good chance your spring may need a quick checkup. Now, putting this pistol back together, one of the other distinct differences between the Walther and the P64 is the location of the magazine release. On the P64, it has sort of the traditional European style where it's on the bottom, you push the button and it ejects the magazine out, whereas on the Walther,
the magazine release is more in an ergonomic position, like a typical pistol up here for your thumb.
Yeah, so again, they're very similar, but at the same time, there are a few differences, but overall, you can't really deny the similarities here. Now, I must say the P64 is one of my favorite Walther PP variants. I love the Walther PP design, the sort of streamlined look that comes out of really some of the 1920s and 1930s design cues, but also the sights on this pistol are very much like one of the era that it come from. Now, I don't know if you can really sort of see here. It has sort of fixed sights on the top. The P64 sights actually are a lot better than some of the other contemporary pistols of the day. It's very easy to use. They're not as quick as some of the more modern pistols to sort of glance at. They're not sort of fluorescent or anything that'll really catch your eye, but they are perfectly adequate.
Yeah, it has a fixed front sight post, and it does have a dovetail in the rear. So, just some quick features that the pistol has. It is 9mm Makarov. It has a double action, single action trigger. The double action is quite stout. Mine was right around 15.5 pounds, and single action, it's excellent. It's right over 3-pound pull, very crisp. It's like a single stage trigger. You don't feel it break.
It's one of the cleanest triggers that I think I've ever felt shooting a pistol, especially one of these old surplus pistols. The trigger is so clean on it.
Yeah, it also has a loaded round indicator. Like I said, these are empty, so we can't really show you. But this right here will actually pop out, and you can feel it. It's flush right now, but when it is loaded, that will protrude out slightly.
And again, this all adds to making this pistol, for somebody in the 1960s or even 70s that would have been issued one of these, it would have been easy to really interact with. You can break it down very simply for cleaning purposes, and also you can run your thumb up there real quick to feel whether or not there's one in the chamber. And you can visually see it, and you can also feel it with your hands.
Also, here's a little trick. When you pull this trigger guard down, push it or pull it to one side or the other, and it will remain open. So that's just a little tip on the field strip. One of the things we did modify, as you can see, are the grips. So this is what the factory grip looks like coming out of the box. and it's not super rough. Maybe you can hear it's not very textured. It does protrude down past your magazine release, so it's not very quick to change out the mag. Also, this right here is actually like your back strap. These grips are. They wrap all the way around the back of the pistol.
Yeah, they sort of become part of the frame, and they protect sort of that hammer spring back there that also functions as the magazine release spring. And this was something that made 3D printing a little bit difficult with these, because in order to compensate for this round, which is a very snappy pistol, this pistol has a reputation for having a lot of recoil, and it really is mostly due to these grips. These grips cause a lot of problems for these pistols. They come down over the magazine release, making it difficult to get to. There's not very much thickness back here, so adding something with 3D printing is difficult to do without making the pistol grips too large. And it took us some time, because we want to put around 7 millimeters of rubber at about 40% density back there to really absorb that. And after we managed to make that happen, which we eventually did get a nice plastic foundation with the rubber behind it, it really absorbs almost all the recoil, and you really can't feel it at all. And obviously we've also added down here at the bottom, we've taken what was a 6-round magazine and made it into a 7 and 8 round magazine, which again, these are empty, but it just basically replaces the stock magazine base down there, and you can have 7 rounds in there or 8 rounds in there. There's not too much different in size between the 7 and 8 extension, but they do make the magazine a little bit longer.
Yeah, and it also provides a really nice pinky rest. So the way I grip it, the ones that came on the magazines were kind of small, and I just like the way that feels better.
Yeah, I do too. And of course, with the design that we've got, the magazine release is much easier to get to than with these factory grips, and you can of course kind of see the angle where that slits back up in there. So let's close this up, Derek. Would you recommend this pistol to someone, even without the 3D printed parts? And if something happened to yours, would you go out and buy another one?
Yes, I would. The trigger is awesome. You know, it does stout on that double action, but that's really only your first shot. Follow-up shots are very, very crisp. The price point was, I believe they were around $250. We paid a little bit more to get the one that didn't have the obvious import markings on them. But yeah, if it was up to me, I lost mine, something happened, I would pay to go get another one tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. And even though people may debate whether they're worth more with that sort of marking hidden, I am very happy with this pistol, and there's very few brand new pistols you can buy for this price point that have the quality that these have. These are very high quality pistols. I love the Walther PP design, and I love the sort of Walther PP variants that are out there. And of the different PP variants, this has got to be my favorite. Even though the magazine release is not very ergonomic, I always come back to this pistol as one that I really want to get out and shoot and just have a good day at the range with.
Alright, so that's Derek and Dylan with Proletariat Designs.
And thank y'all for watching, and y'all have a good day.